Beautiful Ireland in late May, which means right now I'm getting sunburned. But a few minutes from now, I could get hailstones. Who knows what's going to happen next? But this, whatever happens, is the Audi Etron GT. And this car is a car that's really pushing what Audi is about at the moment. And I understand, they've used the technology from the Porsche Taycan underneath that. This is no bad thing. If you want to see a review of the Porsche Taycan, you can take a link up here and you'll find it there. Also, this car is not a Porsche Taycan. There's a lot going on in this car that isn't there. It's got good points, it's got bad points. Let's find out both of those right after this. So some of the things I actually do like about this car is the pillarless doors. I do like them. And when you open the door, this little glass thing pops up. When you close the door, the glass thing pops back down again. It's protecting itself at the bottom of the door. This is actually a full pillarless door. The back doors are huge. Look at that. Look at the thickness of that door. That big part, this bit here is huge. And the pillar and the glass is free up here. Now, my wife doesn't like these because she'd bang her face off that at some point. She doesn't see glass tables and things. So the boot lid is electric, and I'll just tell you something, that on the back of this there is actually reversing cameras, and that is an optional extra. It costs 600 euro for a reversing camera from the base model, which I find a little bit weird in a car that may cost more than 100 grand. But anyway, boot space is actually pretty good. It's pretty deep and it's wide, but you're not going to get it much in this way, so tall objects will have a problem getting in there. But the rest of the boot space is actually fine. You'll get everything you need into it and not a whole lot more, but you do have some storage underneath the floor so you can put more stuff in should you want to. It's deep, but that part's not very wide, and you can lock the car from that little boot click as well. Let's take it for a spin and stop worrying about it. So you notice when I get in, obviously the window's still open there, but it starts. Sometimes it doesn't start when I get in, sometimes it does start. I'm not quite sure when it's supposed to start, when it doesn't, but usually it does. Quick press the start button makes that happen. This little screen you're seeing here, this vehicle is equipped with online services. That's just for me, that's just me. The rest of this is normal now. This is the way the Audi system looks now. And it works fine. And if I want to, I can connect Apple CarPlay wirelessly, or my preference is wired Apple CarPlay. I prefer it like this. So you plug that in and then suddenly you'll get it up on the screen here in front of you. So you see Apple CarPlay has appeared here, and then it appears like this, and up comes Apple CarPlay. It's pretty straightforward, right? It's all nice and easy to use. Now, the USB-C port is tucked away into this little box here in the corner, and there's nowhere now to put my phone other than kind of down in that slot. And that's as good as it gets. I will mention, this will be fixed by Audi, but you're going to hear it as we drive along. Hear that seat? You're going to hear it as we drive along. So I'm just going to tell you now, the seat creaks in this one, that will be fixed by Audi under warranty. You hear when it goes into D, there's a kind of a hum. That hum is fake. And that's okay, because that's what Audi want to have. A fake noise. They're allowed to have a fake noise. I'm supposed to go to this field now. I want to point out something else as well. The parking sensors, Audi, are way oversensitive. Like, you park up to something and you're miles from it and it's screaming that you're going to hit it. Like, it's and it's miles away. So they are oversensitive, both front and back. I think it's something to do with the height of the car. I'm probably shaving the grass off in the middle of the field here as I'm driving along. Or the middle of the road, should I say. But driving this is very rewarding. I would say to you now, and I don't mean to be weird about it or anything, but I would say to you now that the Audi E-tron GT is the best handling electric car in the market, handling wise. It drives like an Audi, that's a big thing. Also drives a bit like a Porsche, but that's also a big thing in the fact that underneath this is a Porsche Taycan. There's not much you can say about that. I really like the Porsche Taycan, it's very good. I have driven it. There is a review on my channel if you want one. There you go. Oh, you don't need to drive it to the hedge. You have plenty of room. Plenty of room. Plenty of room. Another car. The problem with Irish roads is that and English roads, I've been in UK roads as well, same thing happens every time. You meet cars out in the middle of nowhere and you're driving along, and then suddenly you have to pull over into the side of the hedge because the road is made for a horse and cart, not for a car this size. Range wise, when I picked it up, it said on the dashboard about 359 kilometers, and that was at full. Now that is a sort of a guessometer, very same as a kind of range estimator in a normal petrol diesel car. It's the same principle in an electric car. It can actually get better as it goes along. Now I have driven all the way down the motorway, doing 120 kilometers an hour the whole time. Never let up on the accelerator. I put active cruise control turned on, just left it there, and off it went. And I got home and I haven't charged it since, and it's going back up tomorrow, and I probably won't charge it to bring it back out. There are 159 kilometers left, and put it into eco mode, and it'll probably do that as well. No problem whatsoever. Range is not really an issue if you can be near an Ionity station, as Ionity is the fast charge partner to the Volkswagen group. What does that mean? It means that Audi has their own supercharger network, effectively. Not their own, it's Ionity's own, but their partner is Audi or Volkswagen Group cars. That means you get a discount at the Ionity chargers. It doesn't necessarily mean it's free. It's not free. But neither is Tesla superchargers. Now, thinking of Tesla for a minute, because I think the main competitor to this car is actually the Model S rather than the Taycan. I think if you're setting out to buy a Porsche, you're not going to be diverting off to Tesla. I don't think. I think you're just going to buy the Porsche. I think you're going to be buying into that brand. That's what you want to do, is that brand. You don't want to have to worry about Tesla or anyone else. So I don't think the competitor to this is actually the Porsche Taycan, although you probably will have it in the same breath. This handles better than any Model S that I've ever driven. Way better. And there's that creak in the seat. And in dynamic mode, which you just do by pressing the dynamic button here, it just goes... fucking neck, it just gets ripped off when you do that. The force, the pressure down here is so severe. That torque, because there's two gears in this, of course, there's a second gear in there as well. The torque involved in the gearbox in this is just awesome. I mean, there's nothing that feels quite like it. There's no petrol or diesel alternative to this or equivalent to this. That kind of pressure you feel. Now, at the top end, electric cars lose out, of course, to petrol and diesel cars on their top speeds and how long they can go at that top speed. But at 0 to 60 pace, electric cars usually beat most petrol or diesel engine cars. But they aren't as much fun. As much as you might think they're going to be tons of fun, they really aren't all that much fun to drive in that kind of way, because you're really not, with your passengers aboard, you're going to do that 0 to 60 thing every once in a while. You're not going to do it every day. You're only going to do it every here and there. And after a while, you just want to settle down and become just a good electric car. That's what this does. It becomes just a good electric car. It is lovely to drive. I have to say, there is a lot of cars on the road that I like driving, but this is definitely one of them in electric terms. I think this does such a good job at just being a good car, just being an interesting drive of a car. It's very hard to say that you need anything else. Now, what I must address here is the pricing of the car. And I understand there's a market preference here. There's things that happen within market forces that drive the price of things up, down, roundabout. I get it. But if I'm paying over €100,000 for a car, I want a reversing camera as standard. I want everything. I want everything in the car. Everything. Why am I paying for anything as an option other than the colour and the wheels? Everything else should be standard. And I get it, you want to have a couple of grade versions of it, but then give me more horsepower in the upper grade ones. Or something else, because I just find it a little bit cheaty to think that I have over 100 grand spent into a car and I can't actually look out the back window. Remember, the back window on this is very small. It's only a slot back there. And although I can see cars in the distance behind me when you're reversing, if you have not got a reversing camera, you're definitely going to have to rely on those parking sensors, which are way over sensitive. They're far too sensitive for what they do. Without doubt, Audi, you've made a really good car. It feels like an Audi. It prowls about the place like an Audi. It really does. It just feels exactly what I wanted an Audi to feel. But the price tag is eye-watering. For that kind of money, I can pretty much have an A7 and have change left over, which wouldn't be far off what I've got here. You know, you could buy a 3-litre diesel Audi A7 Quattro. You know, you're getting up towards Audi RS7 territory, which is, I mean, that is my finest hour of a car, is the Audi RS7. I absolutely adore the thing. It's hard to debate or hard to see where Audi's kind of going with this electric car with the price of it. It's scarily expensive. So to sum it all up, Audi and Porsche have developed the ultimate driving electric vehicle. So if you want the best drive out of all electric vehicles, you needn't look no further. Really, you just got it right here. If you want affordability in electric cars, this isn't the one. But if you want a fast car that will fill you full of fun all the time, carry 4 people, carry a little bit of stuff in the boot, do all of that, and it will also save you money over its life, then the fuel cost of this thing is a lot cheaper than a petrol or diesel alternative. According to a few sources I've been reading about, it takes about 7 years of ownership to recoup the cost difference between its petrol and diesel alternative. That's a scarily long time. Even if it's out by a year or two, still a scarily long time. That's a lot of petrol and diesel you could have bought for the money. Just saying, yo. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have hit the subscribe button. It'd be very good of you. You can find me over on TikTok and Instagram, particularly if you want to find me on Instagram. You can DM me there if you really like to do that. You can also find me on Facebook as well. We've created some pages there along the way. I may create another page because the limit of friends you can have on Facebook is 5,000. And I'm probably not far off that now. So I may create some sort of a page to go with that rather than a companion page, you know. But anyway, whatever happens, thank you very much for watching. And until the next time, I'll see you on the far side. My wife keeps telling me to remind you all about bobflavin.com, so I better put that in the bottom of it here as well. Look at bobflavin.com. There's some bits and pieces there you can buy, like hoodies and stuff. They're quite cool and nice. I will arrange t-shirts and stuff coming as well. Fear not, there will be more from bobflavin.com later this year.